What's up guys, Steve here. We're going to create an eBay listing in this video. We're going to look at some eBay listings and we're going to break down what eBay is actually looking for, how does an eBay listing hit the front page, and everything else that goes into that. This is a makeshift eBay search page. You know, we've searched for our item and this is pretty much what's come up. First three listings, they're usually sponsored listings. You know, the first one usually has the highest promotion that someone's looking for. You know, you won't just be able to sponsor something at random and it'll just go into someone's listings. You'll still have to do a lot of this stuff here that I've written. Highest promotions are usually number one, and then second and third are usually the second and third highest promotions. It does change from time to time. You know, throughout the listings, when you get to like the 10th and the 15th and the 20th one, there are more sponsored posts that are just like people who are fighting for the top spot in paying for promotions. And we'll go through promotions later in the video if you're not too sure what they are. But let's have a look at the best match listing. So the best match is what 100% of buyers are going to see when they're first searching on eBay or they're looking for something to buy on eBay. I just zoomed in here a little bit. So what have we got here? I got 12 things written here. I got free shipping, I got returns, I got previous sales, I got sold recently, best offer, express shipping, lowest price, top rated, good account, how many watches it has, how many keywords does it have, you know, keywords like item specifics, etc. And what kind of discounts is happening. Now, I just said a lot of words and we're going to break those down a little bit. So what's free shipping, right? So obviously looking through your eBay listings and you're scrolling through and it says free shipping. Really good. That's a plus. You know, everyone wants that. Every buyer wants that. Looking through, does it have returns? This is before we've even clicked on the listing. This is just in the thumbnail image of what people are going to expect when they want to click on the listing. Some people want every single box ticked before they even click on something. And do remember, you only have like, you know, maybe sometimes up to only 1 second of your buyer's time to even look at your listing. So you really have to make sure you have all this stuff nailed before you'll even get a sale. Previous sales, how many have sold? We got sold recently. It sometimes pops up with that. Best offer is out on the listing. Is someone looking to negotiate a little bit, doesn't have an express option. You know, is it the lowest price of the ones listed? Sometimes the lowest price is all that really matters. I did highlight it here because all these 11 things could be not even filled in or you don't even have them. But if you have an eBay listing that is the absolute lowest price for that item and there is tons of competition, lowest price is going to beat everything. Usually, to find out the people who are just competing for lowest price, you want to make sure you have 11 of the 12 sorted out yourself. You know, having a good seller account, being top rated, having listings for a long time, and having good till cancel listings. So, you know, you can build up the amount of views, you can build up the amount of watches here, and then obviously running like maybe monthly discounts or weekly discounts where you just discount your items a little bit, 5%, 10%. It gives a little line to the price and makes the price all red and sale and everything. It makes it look quite pretty on your listing. So I just wanted to write this out before we actually looked at some eBay listings, just so we can kind of figure out all the keywords and the things that I'm actually going to talk about when it comes to making a listing. Let's have a look at some eBay listings on my phone to show you, and then we're going to look at some on the computer just to show you the differences and how you should cater your listings to the different markets. So on the phones, the photos are really, really small. So you want to make your item as big as possible in your photo. So when they click on it, it just covers up the whole thing. So this item here is actually my item. These first two are actually my items. So they have both the sponsored post. They hit the sponsored listing though. The first two, when people search in the Radiant Charizard PSA on the end, as we can see here, I have Radiant Charizard, exactly what it is with the set number, exactly what it is, PSA 9, exactly what it is, Pokemon Go, and then Japanese. So the set and then the end. I think it's best that whatever your item is, the first 2, 3, 5 words should be exactly what your item is. For Pokemon card listings, when they have Pokemon card on the front, they're really good for general searches. When people just type Pokemon cards into eBay, they'll get flooded with everyone's listing who has Pokemon card on the front, and that's perfectly fine for those sellers who have that. Me, I'm a niche seller. I want to target the people that are actually searching for exact items I have. Right here, Radiant Charizard, exactly what is Radiant Charizard. This person here is third in the slot. So this person right here, he has the same item as me. Mine is above his because I have the sponsored slot. You know, I got the watches I was talking about, eBay Plus, free postage, fast shipping because it says get it by Thursday. You got the discount, so you've seen the line and it shows your price really big, 15% off, all these great things. What did I talk about next? I talked about before, the lowest price is the most important. So mine's above his because I have the sponsored added on. I think my sponsored rate for this post is 4%. So whatever, when this sells, I have to pay eBay an extra 4% in fees. This guy here has the same item as me. He even has the same title as me. And I'm sure if I checked all his item specifics, they'd be exactly the same as mine, because he just copied everything I did, which is perfectly fine. If you see an eBay listing that's performing really well, just copy exactly what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't copy the photos. Obviously get your own photos so you can make your own seller identity, but just copy what the seller's doing. There is nothing wrong with that. So we're just going to critique some of these listings here as we go through the phone. So this guy's here, he's copied me. I have one photo of the front of my item, and then I probably have a back photo on the end. This guy just has both back and front item on the front. This might save him some time, but I'm not too sure if it's the best, because if you are a buyer of items, you want to zoom in as much as you possibly can. eBay has a zoom function. This isn't too bad, but personally, I would always recommend having a back and then a front photo if you are selling trading cards. Photo like this guy just have it sitting on a stand on his desk. Pretty bad lighting. The item doesn't take up the whole picture, so even if we zoom in, we don't get that great of an effect. If the item was just closer, the zoom in would do a lot better. Then we got the back there. Scroll down a little bit more. Everyone's kind of facing similar issues. This guy just has his laying on his desk. There's absolutely no reason why it needs to be so much. You only need to see this much of the item. You don't need to see this brown desk behind him. You can just have a black playmat, just like I'm showing on right here, and just take the photo of your item on the playmat and make it as big as the photo as possible, because you want to see it as big as you can, because this is all you get as an eBay listing. This is like tiny as. So you want to make your photos as large as you possibly can, just so you can use all the space eBay gives you. This guy has the same issue with some weird background taken with his phone. Let's check this listing out here. This is a pretty good one, selling all three at once. It's a great thing you can do. Another offer, maybe someone else isn't doing it. Maybe someone wants to save some time. This guy has Pokemon Go, PSA 10. I probably wouldn't put those two as the first things. I think Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, Radiant would be my first 4 words for this listing. I would chuck in the set numbers. I would chuck in a few other cool keywords like holo and stuff like that at the end there. I think Trio Lot probably isn't the best. Remember, this is how much text you get. Even though this guy has Trio Lot of 3-1S, doesn't matter, because the only amount of space you actually get here is, this is barely 8-9 words. This is another one of my listings here that just popped up organically, just with the best match, Radiant, Charizard, whatever. This is all the words you need. And as we scroll down, there isn't too much variation you can have when it comes to like selling a trading card. Most listings look pretty identical if you ask me, but some are better than others. So this guy here has a trio listing as well. I do think the other one looks better. Also, it's like all 3 items were the same size in the photo and they looked really good spread out together, while this one's a little bit more misconstrued. Do you know if you get Charizard? Do you know if you get all 3? As you can see, you go down these search listings and the listings kind of get a little bit worse. The prices get worse, the items get worse, the specifics are most likely worse. This photo is not too bad, but it should be more centered. And this guy's here probably is the worst offender of them all. It has Pokemon Go, Radiant, Charizard, Venusaur, sequential. So in this listing, you get 3 items, just like all the other listings. But in this one, he's just shown Venusaur as the first listing. It's not too bad, but it's not too great. Even if you put all these other photos in, no one's going to look at them. Even if you put this description in, no one's going to look at it. It's not going to matter. Trust me, just make sure the first 3 things, title, photo, price, that's all people care about. They're not going to look at anything else. Even me right now, I'm not looking at it. With the phone, we looked at mainly best match. We looked at what makes a good listing. We looked at what makes a bad listing. Now we're going to look at some really bad listings. And most of the really bad listings come up in buy it now instant searches. So we're going to go buy it now and go newly listed, and we're going to see if we can find some listings that aren't that great. This one right here, 35 original Team Rocket cards, job lot. Not too great. You can't see exactly what they are. This guy does it a lot better. 36 cards, but he's kind of like separated, showed you what every single card could be in a listing. This guy most likely isn't able to sell these as fast or as easily because he just doesn't show every single thing that's available. So as we go through, because we are on eBay and there's over 200,000 results for Pokemon base set, we're going to see a huge variety of listings. Some people that sell cards that often, some people that don't sell cards that often. Right here, we've found this Lightning Energy 1. Pokemon TCG Basic Lightning Energy Scarlet and Violet base set. Not too bad of a title, pretty good price. I'm not sure what this is worth, but that seems pretty good. But what we have here is the biggest issue is they have a white background, which is really bad, and they take the photos from so far away. If they were closer with this image, it would be good. But as a buyer, I have to open this in a new image, then I have to try and like scroll in, and then I got to go squinting, see if I can see anything wrong with that. You don't want that. You want buyers to save as much time as possible so they can actually spend time spending money with you. So here's another pretty suspect one right here. This guy's holding this item in his hand. Not the best. I wouldn't usually recommend this. Not that bad photos, pretty much. He has them closed. You can see the condition of the item. He kind of showed, you can tell it's real also because he showed the holo pattern, but I wouldn't do something like this. He has a pretty good price. I can't fault this guy for trying. He is brand new with 3 feedback, but I usually would suggest if you're a brand new seller, do something similar to this guy with the Crydon EX. He's got the black background. It's pretty close. It could be closer. It could be a little bit better, but that is not that bad. You can see exactly what's wrong with this item. You can track all the corners very easily. You want to make it as easy as possible for the buyer. When it comes to learning about selling on eBay, sometimes it's all about research, and just actually looking at what's selling. So we've gone to the sold listings here, and we're just going to have a look, scroll through, see what catches our eye. Usually with the sold listings, this one here is kind of funny if you ask me. Sometimes things just sell based on price and availability. This was available, had a good price. These photos aren't even that bad. This first photo, I'm not sure what they've done. I think they've used some eBay editor to edit out all the background. But second photo, pretty good. If they were just closer with the image, that would be best. As we scroll down, we've got some base set Pokemon cards here. It's pretty good. These are actually quite good photos. This is nice to see. This seller, he's not a big seller, only 275 feedback. Mons and Games, shout out to you. You're in the UK. Great photos. You can tell. You can see a few scratches here and there. Back photo, you can see the edge wear. You can see all this here. He displayed everything he possibly could. Pokemon card, Blastoise, exactly what it is. That's all you need to do. Selling on eBay is not that difficult. You just do exactly what buyers want. Imagine if you wanted to buy an item. You want to just have it exactly shown the best way it can possibly be. And then you want the lowest price as well. But sometimes we can't always have that, but you want to have everything else correct at the same time. And as we scroll through here, pretty much most of these listings fall under the same sort of paths. They all have nice photos. They got pretty good titles, and they all sell for a reason. There will be some outliers here and there, just because price, people shop on price a lot of the time. But when you go through the sold listings, you will notice most of the stuff actually sells because it just has good photos and a good title with a good price. Or it sells because it has a really, really good price and those other things don't matter as much. But the first things I mentioned, they're so important. So let's actually build an eBay listing. We are finally here at the listing page. It did take us a while, but we had to look at what a listing actually looks like, what a good listing looks like, what buyers look out for, what actually pops up in the searches, and what the items in the actual sold listings actually look like, what people are actually looking for, what they're buying, etc., etc. Let's get into this listing. So when we first start, photos. You want to have as many photos as you can possibly have. I have been told by an eBay rep to myself many times, listings that have more photos get higher in the search ranks. That's just a fact. Me personally, I only put 2 on my listings as I don't really feel like putting 100 photos of the same thing on the listing just to like kind of mess with the search metrics. So I only put 2, but I highly recommend you put 2, 3, 5 to 10 photos on your listings. It does take more time if you are new, but when you're new, you're just trying to like gain as much exposure as possible. You're trying to get as many sales as possible. You will have to put more effort compared to a bigger seller, but that's perfectly fine. That's just how it is. You know, I have my feedback, and that's why people buy from me. They don't need as many pictures as possible because they do trust the items I sell. When you're newer, you have to kind of build that trust and build your own feedback. Photos there, they're very important. Have as many as you can possibly can. Having exactly what you're selling front and center in the main listing photo is more important than anything else. Then we have our title. Now here, I sell graded cards. It's pretty easy for me to make a good title for most of my things, but even if this was an ungraded Pokemon card, this is exactly the same title I would use. I just wouldn't call it PSA 10. Pretty straightforward, exactly what it is. It's a Pikachu, that's the set number. It's a Pokemon card, that's the set it comes from. It's Japanese, it's a character rare, and the card's also holo. You can add a few other things in here. You can add full art, and you can add graded. Not as important, you can do what you want, but I would generally suggest using all 80 characters that they have on the listing page because you want to use as many as possible for keywords. But do you remember when we were looking on the phone, roughly only like 40 to 50 characters were shown on the phones. Using all 80 is important, but having the first 40 be super, super important with exactly what the person's looking for is ideal. We've got the item category. That's pretty straightforward. You know, most trading cards are just going to be in CCG individual cards, but you have to make sure that you are putting your item in the exact right category. You might not sell Pokemon cards like I do. You might sell cards, you might sell bikes, boats, you might sell coins, etc. But you need to make sure you put your item in this right category, because when you go to search on eBay, it's going to come up with the individual category it's actually in. So if your item is not in the correct category, it will not come up. Even if you have the best item ever at a $1 price, the lowest everything, if your item isn't in the correct category that eBay thinks it should be, right now I searched and everything I got put into CCG individual cards straight away. You can click all and then it'll show everything in that listing that actually went up by 400 results, but I do highly suggest not having your listings in the wrong category. Research what the right category is and double check it every time you make your listings. Item specific. So there are some that are required by eBay. They require you to put in what exactly what it comes from. Every single different listing on eBay has different requirements for the item specifics. Shirts have their sizes and stuff like that. Shoes have their sizes. Shirts have their colors. Books have certain things, the wear and tear on the item. Every single thing has different requirements. With trading cards, you need to put what game and if it's graded or not, so they can filter it to the right buyer best as possible. You know, eBay is getting tens and thousands of new items up every single day. They want to make sure they can filter all those items to the right buyers so they can make as much money as possible, because eBay is a business. Now, these are the additional item specifics. I would get yourself acquainted with most of the things that go with your item. eBay does automatically put some item specifics in, but it's not always correct. And sometimes if you have the wrong item specific, it'll take it out of the search completely. It'll put it in some different random search. And if people search for an item, even if it's the same title, it might not even get shown, because maybe you have an item specific that eBay might not think that you're looking for. Make sure you put exactly what your item has. Be specific, but don't go too crazy. You should have your title filled with almost every single important thing with the item, and then just fill out a few things that have the highest search. You know, so card type right here, it is a Pokemon on the card. So we have card type for Pokemon, 500,000 searches right there. The set has 200,000 searches. So what this means is when people put it on the left here, language, grade, set, character, rarity, finish, features, all these things on the left here, people do sort by them, and they're using them more and more every day as eBay rolls out the item specifics and pushes them more towards buyers. So I highly suggest filling these out with the most important one: card name, character, rarity, features. And as you go down the list, it's not as important to fill out everything that's like 3K searches, 4K searches, but I recommend filling out the big ones to start off with. You know, it just says in the last 30 days, buyer has searched for these details 547,000 items when looking for items like yours on ebay.com.au. I would just believe what they're telling you to do, because it's in their best interest to tell you the right thing, because they want to sell items. eBay wants to make money, right? They are a business. So I have not filled in every single listing here, as this is a mock listing on another eBay account, but just stuff like autographed. Is it autographed? You know, the language of the item is important. The size, even though you might not think it's important, you can have default set for a lot of your listings, and I'll show you how to do that later on to bulk edit the item specifics on eBay. This one here is super important. It is condition. So most trading cards are going to have item condition used. Most things you're going to sell on eBay are going to have item condition used. Condition description. Now this is crazy important. So many people actually don't use this. So I'm going to pull up these two listings here. We have this one here from a seller named Thundermoo. He has condition used. And this one here from a seller named Pokemon Steven. That's me. We have used. This is a graded item, combined shipping on all items. The condition description is a great place to put in exactly what buyers are looking for. It's where you can like preemptively answer questions. So I have, this is a graded item. Some people ask if it's authentic from time to time, and I have combined shipping on all items because it's pretty much my most asked question these days is, do you combine shipping? So I threw it in there. It's not relevant to the actual item, but it doesn't matter, because they see that condition used, this is a graded item. I should kind of reword this, so this is an authentic item graded by PSA, but I've had this for a long time. And then right here, this combined shipping on all items. And then you can add some more things in here. Please message me if you need any help. Please do this, please X, please Y. You can use this to advertise answers to questions that you might get preemptively, just so the buyer feels good about looking at it and going, oh, okay, he already answers all these. I feel better with buying off him. The description, you know, I've always been kind of against descriptions because no one scrolls down to look at them. I'm sorry. This might ruffle a few fellas. Some people have crazy looking good descriptions. No one really looks at description these days. People have the attention span of just like 0 seconds. They don't have time. They scroll through all the listings. They click on it. They look at the front. They look at this. This is it. When they look at a listing, they look at this part and that's it. They scroll off the listing and they quit out. They don't scroll down, they don't look at stuff because it's not relevant to their needs. They don't want to read whatever you have to say. They just want to get all the answers from the first image they look at, and they'll click out if they don't like it. But in the description, you can also use it as a place to answer questions. Right here, I have card is officially graded by PSA, combined shipping on all items. Please message if you need any help. It's pretty much it. You know, you can't really go too much more. If you're selling something more niche, more expensive, more personal, where you got it from, you need to prove provenance. Put it in the description as best as you can. If you have a big description thing about conditions and stuff like that, or you take returns or whatever, put that in the description. But buyers are just looking for ways to get their questions answered by looking in description. They don't really care how long you've been selling on eBay. you're the best guy ever, you donate to charity, anything like that. They just want to know exactly what's going on with the item. Right here, we got down into pricing. There are a few things here. You can add best offer, you can autofill the pricing, volume pricing, sells a lot, or make a private listing so people can remain anonymous when they do buy off you. That's not too important for a brand new seller. All you should worry about is the price, how many you have, and if you're allowing offers. You can turn on best offer, you can turn off best offer, you can add a minimum offer, decline, auto accept. I wouldn't even touch those as a brand new seller. I would put on best offer. You can kind of get a little bit of leeway back and forth with a buyer. If you do get a best offer, it does boost you up in the search listings because actually someone wants to interact with that. They're actually looking to actively buy the item by sending you an offer, usually, and eBay will see that and it'll make them feel good and it'll put your item up in the search rank. So I do recommend putting offers on for newer sellers and then actually working with buyers and finding a nice middle ground for price. This is pretty cool. There's a button here that says see sold listings, the median price. This is my Pikachu card. They're showing me $100, $113, $94, $73. Pretty awesome. They have that search right here. You don't have to go and search it yourself. You know, when it comes down to postage, if you haven't already watched my setting up your eBay seller account video, I highly recommend going to watch that because I set up all the business policies. I show you how to set up this free shipping domestic only thing, all the payment policies, all the things like that. I show you how to set it all up and show you how to make a really good looking eBay account from the back end. So please go watch that eBay seller account video just to learn how to do all these things with your eBay listing. I really hope you enjoyed this video on what makes a good listing, what makes a bad listing, all the things that are important when it comes to listing your items actually on eBay, because this is the most important thing about being a great eBay seller. You need to have good listings that people are actually going to click on, they're actually going to spend their money on, so you can continue being a better and better eBay seller and actually making more money to buy more items, to sell more things, to make more money, buy more items. My name's Steve. I hope I catch you on the next eBay video. We're going to be doing bulk eBay listings and how to make them faster, how to set up your listings in advance to make it as fast as possible and efficient as possible. We're going to talk about packaging and shipping and a whole bunch of other things. And as usual, any questions, throw them in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer you. And until the next time, thank you. Have a great day.